Hello, hello. Happy Friday to everyone. Happy Friday and welcome to your next episode of Success Power Hour Fridays with Master Coach LaKendra Smalley, which is myself and who over here trying to get her whole little self together. I am over here trying to get my whole self together because let me tell y'all something. It is so hard to run all of your streams of income. It just seems like all of my streams of income needed my presence today. I had to answer, like, the phone is a stream of income for me. If I don't answer that phone, child, I don't make any money. So I was on a phone call and I was like, I gotta go. But when people call me, I give them my undivided attention. And it's just so hard to rush people off the phone when they trying to spend their money with you, right? And so it's Friday. I didn't have nobody to answer the phones today. And then I had to see my regular clients. So I started this morning off seeing my regular clients. And normally Success Power Hour Friday is with another coach, but I am the coach. This is who you getting today, okay? So let me kind of trying to adjust this light. I just didn't have time. But one thing y'all know about me is no matter what, I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna show up, and when I get my little life together, I'll start showing out. So we got folks coming in here. Hello, Coach Tamasha. She is here. Oh my gosh, she about to print her workbook. You'll need the workbook for the weekend because we're not going to really work out of the workbook. It's all about the foundation, right? Hello, Coach Shanique. Coach Shanique is always, she my traveling coach. She is always somewhere checking in from North Carolina. I appreciate that. Hello, Coach Renita. Hey, how y'all doing? Make sure you share this out because remember, this kind of streams a little weird. So Coach Tamasha and Coach Ronita, I think y'all can share it into the global lab, into our lab. So go ahead and share it there. And we're going to get started because I am your coach for the hour. And we are going to be talking about some really heartfelt stuff that's going to get us all the way together. Let me say this. It is going to inspire you to get yourself all the way together. And it's going to ignite you to have the tools you need to get yourself all the way together. How about that? Because getting yourself together is a choice. So just because I'm on here talking and you're on here listening, don't mean that you have to adapt and apply. So that's going to be truly left up to you if that is what you want to do. Okay. But before we get all that together, let me make sure that we're streaming right. Everywhere we're streaming right. I'm going to check YouTube first and make sure we're streaming right there, which I think we're on. Okay, and we're streaming right on. Y'all, we got it. We're here. We got it. So I will say this, all of my lives are not worthy to share because, sometimes I'll be on some more stuff, but this live is going to be very worthy to share. And if you don't want to share it on your page, which is, absolutely okay, go ahead and tag 2 or 3 people and bring them here because this is public and it's live. So I can't hide, right? It's not just on my personal page. What I say is just what it's going to be today. So let's have a moment of silence for my mouth. This moment of silence. Because you never know what I'm going to say. You never know what's going to come out this mouth. But I promise you to be respectful. But I'm really just going to be speaking from my heart. A lot of you purchased the workbook. Thank you so much for purchasing the workbook because the workbook is the foundation, right? It's going to be all about the foundation of what we're going to be talking about. And then today it's going to be about the heart. So after I get you all together, then when you go to the workbook, it's going to be less of that intensity. It's going to be more of a breath of fresh air to just kind of go through terminology and, the fluff work, and put it into perspective and remind you of things that you already know. So today I may bring up some things that you may not have known. I may throw out some vocabulary that you may not know of, but in that workbook, go and purchase the workbook. It will put things into perspective for you of what I'm going to say today. And also it'll help you to translate. So, because I'll be talking from my own experiences today, and sometimes it doesn't always translate, but, the workbook is very educational and it'll be able to translate. So our coaches who may be tuning in, if you wanted to use this with your clients, it would be great to use for your clients. If you wanted to use it with your kids or use it with your household to get them all the way together, that workbook will be so great because it has stories in there that ties into the power of self-coaching, right? The power of self-coaching. So those of you who are being tagged in here, and you may be tuning in on YouTube or you're on our Facebook page, if you don't know me, I am the founder and the CEO of the Institute, the Global Institute for Coaches and Entrepreneurs, where we certify, train, and develop coaches, teaching them how to maximize in their gifts so they can leverage all things possible, all things abundant, all things prosperity. Because at this point in their life, they're sick and tired of being tired, and they needed that profound, platform that's going to give them that inspiration to know that they can do whatever the hell they want to do. Coaching is a lifestyle. And because it's a lifestyle, it gives us the freedom to truly soar. The freedom to not have to be put in a box, the freedom to break generational curses, right? The freedom to get out of that low, nasty, ugly vibration and vibrate high, the freedom to walk away, the freedom to say no and it be a beautiful, complete sentence, and the freedom to say yes because that's what you really want to do, right? And so if you ain't into life coaching, this is what you need to get into, because today we're talking about self-coaching. I've been in my personal practice, I empower my clients to learn the skills, adapt the skills, and then move on with their life as the author and as the captain of their own life. That's what I do. So I don't milk my clients like a damn cow. That's not what I do. If you come to me and you want me to coach you, you got to be ready to be coached, because I need to give you the tools and the skills that you need so you can move on and do it for somebody else. Then I can take a new client and teach them so they can move on and teach somebody else, because I don't have time to be with you all of the time. And we do that in business. We kind of milk, we milk our clients to each his own, but we don't do that over here in coaching, right? So self-coaching is so powerful. And I came up with this whole self-coaching concept because I think I had got an email or something that dealt with the topic, and it made me feel sexy. Y'all know, those of you who know me, when I feel sexy, that means that I can't walk away from it. It's almost like seeing a fine man that's so beautiful. He's so well groomed. He looks intelligent. I mean, he's mouth watering, standing over in the corner. He looking at me, I'm looking at him, and vice versa. And it's like, before I leave here tonight, I'm gonna go holler at him, or he gonna come holler at me. Somebody is gonna make the first move, and that's what sexy feels like to me. Sexy feels like a blessing that I've been waiting for, and I know that when I got it, I know it came from God. God showed up and showed out in my life, and it's something that is so beautiful that it brings me to tears because I'm so grateful and gratitude. So when y'all hear me say sexy, y'all, it's on a whole nother breathtaking level. So I got this inbox, and it was talking about self-coaching. I was like, you know what? We really don't teach the concept of self-coaching outside of the 2-day intensive, because in the 2-day intensive, because we do certify coaches, right? we teach them how to become their first client, right? They are their first avatar. And then we kind of don't even go outside of that after you do the 2-day intensive. So this inspired me to come and talk about self-coaching, because we need to self-coach every single day to get ourselves together, right? To get ourselves together. It is nobody's responsibility but yours to get yourself together. So on today, we're going to be talking about this beautiful method to get ourselves together before this new year come around. Is it important? It's only important if you're tired. It's only important if you know you're not where you are supposed to be in your life. It's only important if you are continuously struggling. It's only important if things be going right in your life and then something happens and you have to start over and over and over. If none of that is happening in your life right now, then this may not be the life for you. Or you may know other people that you can get this information and you can hopefully go over and inspire them to get their shit together. But I just feel like we all need to be getting our shit together, even me. Like, I am the guru of the heart. I am, they just call me the heart surgeon. Like in my other life, I must have been a heart surgeon, like the doctor. And every day I work on improving myself. Like, every single day I work on improving myself. And so even I have struggles with getting my shit together. So you can't tell me that you don't. Even some of the most profound people in this world who are gurus, who are masters, who walk the earth and they teach this, they have a struggle. But if you that perfect piece of pie, then this may not be the life for you. And you can exit, right? Because we gonna take care of business today. So let's see what y'all are talking about over here. Me and my clients are watching on YouTube. Yes, come through YouTube. Y'all, this social media stuff just be killing me, but social media is my friend. I embrace social media. Social media is in an easy world, and I'm gonna keep at it and make it do what it do. So normally I would interview someone first. So if y'all want to know something about me, you want to ask me an interviewing question, put it in the comments. Can we see? Yeah, I think I can see. Can I see your comments from YouTube? I don't know. So maybe I can if you put them in. Possibly I can. I don't know. But if you have a question to ask me, this is interviewing time. Go ahead and put the comment and the question as it pertains to, I don't know, my life, my background, what inspires me, like whatever it is that y'all want to know. And so I'll answer a couple of questions, and then we'll move on to the actual learning segment. So the learning segment comes after that, and then we come back on for Q&A. So after I do the learning segment, then I'll come back on for Q&A of the learning segment. So any questions? Any questions that y'all want to ask me that you may not already know? The coaches are on here, so I'll give y'all a minute because I know you got to type it in. Until then, this is the weekend, right? And I used to do these. They used to call Pillow Comfort Fridays, because Friday in other spiritual realms is truly when you are supposed to release all of the stress and burdens of your week. So you can go into the weekend, not waiting until Sunday. A lot of people go to church and they, do what they do when they're at church, but it really starts on Friday. So you're supposed to release all of your stress and your burdens. And I used to have these rejuvenating Fridays where we meditate. I would have, masseuses to come in and, all of these great thought leaders. And I would bring women together, and we would do it at these really fancy hotels and I would have food and all kind of things. We would just have fun and rejuvenate and rejuvenation. So they could literally go into Saturday and Sunday in celebration instead of in burden and tired. Like, oh my gosh, because I worked all week and I'm just tired and I just want to sleep in. But if you learn how to release that energy on Friday evening, then you can really have a blissful weekend. So I went years just having these blissful weekends because I used to do that practice all the time. So y'all don't have any questions. So you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just dive into it. I'm not going to share any of my story if y'all don't want to, if you really don't want to hear it. So let me share my screen. And if I catch it later, then we will I'll go over those answers with y'all. Because I do have like this cute little PowerPoint. If y'all can see it, can you let me know that you can see it? Can y'all see the screen that I just shared? Send me something before I move on. Is it up and is it running? I can see it. Great, great, great. Okay, thank you, Coach Tamasha. So I titled this, I'm over it and I'm cleaning up my shit. How self-coaching can help, because everything that I do is really related to coaching. But the premise of it is a lot of us, we move about in life like we really don't have problems, like we really got it all together. I call it my high functioning adults, right? I have really high functioning clients, y'all. I have six and seven figure clients. They see me every week and they have everyday problems like everyday people, even with money, even with power, even with influence. So what that taught me is that you know how sometimes we used to sit, we was not even used to, some of us do it even right now. We sit and we see people's lives, like, and we just like, oh my gosh, like, I just wish. We go into the wish mode, right? And what it taught me when I became a life coach, it taught me not to wish for anybody else's life. Like, I don't wish for people's life anymore, because when you have been able to sit in a chair, like I sit in a chair, and help people to move from A to B to Z in their life and see the influence and the power. And it may look like on the outside that they have it together, but they really don't on the inside. That it really took me out of that wish mode. Like, I don't look at a celebrity's life. I can't even keep up with the people. Even people that I truly adore, like, you know how, like, oh, we know their birthdays and all that. Like, I'm just not into that, because I need to be into me. I have really learned how to make myself my own celebrity, how to wish for my life. Because if you start wishing for your life, then the life that you don't even see will reveal itself to you if you just start wishing for it. Like, wish for your own celebrity status. So, of course, everything is uncertain, right? Everything is uncertain. We don't know. We can't predict the future, right? And we have definitely been taught that. You cannot predict the future. So when you get out of that wish factor of somebody else's life, in somebody else's throat, their authority in their throat, their authority in their posture and their presence, like, we live for it. We live for just like, oh, they just inspire me. And we forget about ourselves. And the more and more and more we forget about ourselves, the more and more we dig ourselves a grave. And we're not even consciously aware that we're doing it. It's like, oh my gosh, look at their relationship. Oh, I just wish I had that relationship. And we're just digging more and more a grave, because what you're wishing for is external. You don't even know the internal being of their vibration or anything. So we have to be really, really careful in our wish modes, because it really affects all of the shit that we encompass over a period of time. And we don't understand why it's so much, why it feels so stressful. to clean it up. So that's one thing, right? That just really came to my head. This is not even in my notes. That's how I know I knew to say that. Get out of wish mode, because it must be somebody on here that's in that wish mode factor. So the key is wish for your own life. And this is what it looks like. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see what my life is going to look like next month. I wish for it to be as abundant and as influential as I feel. And you start to what? You start to tell the universe, like, oh, okay. So let me give her a little glimpse. Let me give him a little glimpse of what is promised. And we will start to see our own becoming. So stop wishing for people's stuff. Like I said, I don't know where that came from. But on today, we're just going to be talking about, I'm just going to really just be sharing with you things that I do every single day. This is my method. It may or may not work for you, but take what you need from the buffet line, eat what you want to eat, and leave the rest of it for somebody else to eat. Because I'm so over it, y'all. Like I'm just so over the roller coaster of emotions. I'm so over being told that I can't do something, being told that I can't be a part of something, being told that I don't fit in, right? I'm over it. I've been over it, but I'm over it for real now. So every day I self-coach. People say, well, how do you do it, Master Coach? How do you handle it all? Because every day I self-coach, and I self-coach without the perfection. I self-coach through the process, through the journey, through the consistency that I just keep moving. So we're going to be talking about all of these great, I don't know how to move. Let me see how to move through this, y'all. Y'all give me a minute, because I'm doing this from, Did I move it like this? Let's see. Click. Okay, boom. So I live very radically, right? I live very radically, and I'm very disruptive. It's facts. Like, I know this about myself, because it kills me when people try to make you feel like you don't belong because of a status or a clique or a lack of title, right? Oh, you can't give me advice because you're not a counselor or a therapist. You didn't go to school. You didn't go to school that long like they did. I don't listen, but I have the experience, and people will make you feel that way. And throughout life, a lot of us have felt that way. And people don't really do it, I don't really think, to be hurtful, but it's just the programming. If you did not, like, how can you tell me that to do this and you don't have the piece of paper to show that you are worthy enough or educated enough to give that type of advice or that type of wisdom? So I've always been this radical, even as a little girl. Like, don't be trying to put me down, because if I speak from my throat, which is connected and is rooted from what I know, whether I studied it or not, because sometimes people are gifted through spiritual wisdom. And I have a whole lot of spiritual wisdom gifts, right? So I've always been radical and disruptive. Just like when I came into this whole life coaching thing, and they were like, you can't be on Psychology Today. Y'all, they denied me 4 times, maybe even 5. I think it was the 5th time they finally let me in. 4 times. Like, how can you tell me that I can't be there? I save people's lives every day. And finally, because I show up for myself every single day, and I don't allow that defeat to defeat my vibration of how I feel about myself, I just figured a way out. I just figured it out. Because why? Because I wish, like, oh my gosh, to be on that platform will open up so many doors for me. And when I got on that platform, my personal practice, it was almost like I even self-sabotaged myself, because I felt that being on that platform gave me the credentials or the respect that I can do what I do very, very well. And that's to help people to feel better about themselves so they can get their shit together. So finally, they let me on, and my personal practice skyrockets. Because why? Because you have businesses and people who find people on that platform. So a lot of us, we live in acceptance of the norm. Don't accept the norm. You got to be radical and disruptive if you want to clean your shit up fast. So we get ready to put our gloves on. I want you to go get your broom, your dustpan. You may need a rope, a shovel, and an axe, right? Because we just getting ready to cut it all down. And I've been changing these out like all week so it don't be so heavy, and so I can get through an hour, okay? Because y'all know, I mean, I'm a teacher, so I can talk my whole hour. I have no problem with that. So the first thing that I want to cover is there's rules to this game, okay? There are rules. And you have to just get your pill bottle out and just swallow the pills, because I'm going to say some things that's going to irk you probably, because you're going to identify with it. You're going to reflect with it. So through this process and this journey that we're going to take for the next 30 minutes, I just want you to remain kind to yourself through the process. Just be kind to yourself and be kind to me, okay? Because you don't have to be on here. You can really get off. Because this is the type of talk this is going to be. It is a sit down and let's get our shit together. Not you just get your shit together. Let's do it together. And I'm going to give you the method and what I use. So I want you to promise me that you're going to remain kind to yourself through this process. If you promise that, just put I promise in the chat, and then I'll move on. Remain kind to yourself through this process, because it's going to be a little painful, just a little bit. Okay. This ain't no paid class, so I can't just give it all to y'all because we don't have that type of time. So put I promise in the comments if you're ready to move on, and you are saying to yourself, Master Coach, I'm going to remain kind to myself through this process. So I'll wait for y'all. Y'all got it? Come on. Coach Tabasha ain't the only person on here. The rest of y'all go ahead and just bring it on in. Like, I don't even know why y'all be fooling with me in my lives and y'all be over here shy. Bring it on in. I promise that, okay, we are YouTube people. I promise that I'm going to be kind to myself because, Coach K. Sabala, she's on here. Great. I promise. Because let me tell y'all what I discovered about 6 or 7 years ago. Because at heart, I'm a sociologist. Okay, at heart, I want to know how things are done, and what I've learned just being a sociologist is that you can prove anything you want to prove in this world at any time. At any time, everything in creation of who we are and what we were created from gives us an ability to prove our own hypothesis, right? We can prove our own hypothesis at any time to make ourselves feel good, because that's what society does every day. If they want to go against something, a belief, they would do an experiment or a study, and they would put it all out there. And then we have to make our educated guesses on if we want to roll with that study or that belief or that hypothesis, and we normally do. Right? And because we just believe. I have no choice to just believe, but you do have a choice. We always have a choice to believe. And if you have any inkling of a doubt, any inkling of a doubt, of a belief in something, then that's when you can really be this radical and disruptive and show up and create for yourself, because that's what we don't do. We don't do that well. So I want y'all to just be kind to yourself, because what I want to talk about just really briefly is the cellular and DNA evolution of our history. So a lot of us beat ourselves up because we don't understand that we are an evolution of a species from beginning of time. So who you are right now, consciously, right now we're consciously right, with each other. You kind of know, but then you got all of this DNA, right, and the cellular composition that's happening in your body that you don't know. You don't know where they come from. No one ever really teaches us that. So about, 6 years ago, I did a study because I was really curious to why we really behave the way we behave. You can have some of the greatest people. They're raised by great parents, but the kids are raggedy, right? Or you could have great kids and their parents are raggedy. So is there a method, or is there some type of formula to good parents raise good kids, or good parents raise bad kids, and bad kids have good parents, or bad kids have, bad parents? There's really no formula for it all. So what I learned in cellular and DNA evolution is that, and I say it all the time, with or without us, with or without you in consciousness. Like right now, we're thinking, hey, Master Coach, hey, tribe, I promise, all take your time, sugar. Like I see all your little comments over here, right? We're right now in consciousness. But then there's a subconscious part of you that is also active. It's active right now, with or without you. So with or without you, we're always having an experience. So when I learned that, I was like, well, how can I always be in consciousness? And through this research that I did, what I learned was to always be in consciousness is always honor every emotion, every thought that comes up into my mind. Even if I dismiss it, even if it's not in my present perspective, I am going to honor it consciously in awareness. That's the reason why I teach awareness in the 2-day intensive, because your inner self is going to always have an experience, even in your consciousness. That's the reason why you can be in the most positive state of being. You could be hanging out with your friends. You could be laughing and hee, and then something in your mind, it could be, you could think about death. You could think about just some crazy shit. Y'all know what I'm talking about. If you know what I'm talking about, just let me know. Just let me know that I'm not alone and I'm not crazy. It'll just pop up and you'll just dismiss it. Some of us don't even notice it because we're so accustomed to it. So what I've learned to stay in consciousness at all times is just honor it. I'll see it. It's almost like, like how you're sitting outside and the big blimp, like the big blimp goes by and everybody stops to look at the big blimp and be like, oh, what does that say up there? And we're straining, like we're really looking to see what it says. That's how I honor my mind. What? LaKendra. Y'all, I hate that I went and saw Michael Myers on Halloween, because why that dude just be appearing in my subconscious mind? I got to get rid of that. I have to get rid of that. So that's the type of stuff I'm talking about. He's not even real. But I promise you, everywhere I am on social media, I see a post about that dude. Y'all understand what I'm saying? So we have to sit and we have to honor these things to get rid of them. We got to put them where they're supposed to be. And we have to say to ourselves, listen, most of the time it's an affirmation for me. So how do we remain kind to ourselves through the process, Master Coach? what we do is we stop and we look at the Goodyear blimp, honor it, and we put it where it needs to go with an affirmation. And I normally just say to myself, I will honor my bloodline of past pain and trauma with all of the love and resiliency and abundance I am for them right now. And I love you and I honor you. And you're safe with me. Because a lot of us have so many emotions that happens within us that we will immediately allow it to drown us out. We'll go from, yay, yeah, I'm down for that. We going out this weekend. Woo, 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 woo. I can't wait. I can't wait to go put on this new outfit. Baby, I'm going to put this hair on. I'm going to make sure I put on my green mascara. And then that emotion happened on Tuesday. And then Friday come and you like, I don't want to go. I'm just going to sit in the house and eat popcorn and watch TV. Where does it come from? Where does all the inspiration that you had and excitement that you had? A lot of us is like that. We will allow the cellular DNA of who we are to take completely over. And sometimes you have to move to the next one, which is this one here. We have to hold space with our thoughts and our emotions that does not represent who we are now. And how am I able to talk about this? Because this is me, baby. I am so ideal for it. Why can't we go out and have fun today, LaKendra? Are we living in fear? What is going on? Like I self-talk all the time. So you truly had to get yourself back into where you know that you are, and don't allow that disruption to happen that takes you from the radical part of you of living. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Hey, Coach Stephanie, it's good to see you. Yeah, I love that visual representation too. Yeah, it just popped out of my head. So thank you for that. So create your affirmation right now. Write your affirmation out where you're talking. Sometimes we're talking to, our ancestors. I know the shit sounds creepy, y'all. I know. But they are a part of us because this whole cellular DNA composition, evolution thingy is real. Before we were even born, we were already created. And then when we were created with the dynamic of creation, of producing, of production. When we were created to create. So we're already given like this magic. So you can't tell me that it doesn't transcend from something else to something else, to something else, to something else. That's why it's called generational curses. Generational curses. It's a linkage. So you have to monitor your mood and understand if it's your mood or if it's just a mood that's having an experience, because it's just a part of you. So when I learned that, being ADHD, growing up, ADD, right, as a child, and having all these the things that we experience, those of you who, may have a child that's ADD or ADHD, or you experience some type of chemical imbalance, you understand it. We already have all these weird things happening in us anyway. So I have to always honor what's mine and what's not mine, and be like, hey, I'm not sad today. No. But I honor you and I hold space with it and I nurture it because it's a part of who I am. And once you understand that, a lot of us will stop being so depressed and so sad. Okay. So remain kind to yourself through the process, radical and disruptive. We're talking about what? self coaching, learn how to hold space with your thoughts and your emotions and represent where you are presently now. How can you shut down? You go from being excited about going to hang out with your friends, go and spend time with your family to, no, I'm just going to stay in the house today and do nothing. I'm going to just read a book. That ain't the shit you want to do. So we're talking about cleaning it up. I'm helping y'all to clean it up fast. Get out and move. You got to get out and move. So disrupt and create harmony. That's one of my favorite things to do. So what is harmony? Harmony is a peace. It's a clarity. It's a sense of clarity. So when you have peace and clarity, then you have harmony. So you got to disrupt the emotions and the feelings to create harmony. So in the handbook, for those of you who purchased the handbook, in the handbook, I talk about Ashley, I talk about Tina, I talk about Kaishla or Kaylee, and I talk about Kim. And each one of them have a story where they had to disrupt and create harmony. So if you got the workbook, you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, shame on you, because it was just $12 and you can still go and buy it later. But each one of them talk about a story where they had to come with back into their own consciousness, create a disruption so they can create harmony. So if that was like one of them wanted to be an artist, but her parents were like, no, that's not noble. That's not going to provide you with prosperity. So she went to school to be a dentist or something, right? But then later in life, when she started becoming into her own authority, she got back into art. So that was the disruptions that she caused in order to create harmony. Most of us are sitting on our gifts because we're so afraid to cause a disruption of what people may think. Of what people may think about you. If you want to get into crystals and you want to learn about crystals and you want to kumbaya and meditate and sit on the floor and explore the universe and get into your oils and all that that's so against everything you've was raised on, if that's going to cause a disruption to create harmony, then you do it. If you want to go, if your friends, they want to travel and go kick it and party and let's go to Vegas, let's go to LA, let's go to Miami, and that ain't what you feeling no more because you want to go and explore the world, but that's not how, because you just want to get out and maybe you want to go and really visit and see culture and what do you call it? Sightsee, that type of stuff. Then that's what you do. I travel by myself. When I started going over to the Philippines, no one has ever gone with me. And I can count on it's over, it's so many times that I've been over there by myself. So now I just travel Asia by myself because when I go to the Philippines, I'm going to also go visit other places before I come home. So I be gone by myself because I didn't have no friends that was into that. And that was the experience I wanted to have to create harmony. You understand it? I remember when my grandmother, she came to me and she was like, I need to do something different in my life. She was in her early 70s. I'm like, Granny, what do you want to do? She was like, I don't know, but I don't have any peace right now. And the next thing I asked her some questions and I was like, Granny, you got to do it for yourself. I mean, you don't need our approval, right? Child, Granny took up swimming. She started going swimming every week to create her own harmony. And her friends was like, you too old to be swimming. That's not what you need to be doing. Like, just come to Bible study. That's where your friends and stuff are. But baby, my grandma went and made her some new friends. And they ain't look like me or her. because we just don't be in that water like that, a whole bunch of us. So she caused a disruption to create harmony. Most of us will sit in our misery. If you know that music makes you feel good, then music is what you need to do. If art makes you feel good, if sewing makes you feel good, if gardening, like if you want to garden and you have the space for it and that's what you want to do, stop procrastinating and do it. You got to be radical in the disruption, right? Because a lot of us have access, but we're just lazy. Because you think you're going to miss out on something. What are you going to miss out on? Right? So in the workbook, have fun with those stories. The other things is how can I create harmony? Puzzles, right? Because everybody always told me that, puzzles were great. LaKendra, just do puzzles, especially growing up with, being ADD. So puzzles really do help me. So those of you who are, if you have a very active mind and you want to get in a place of harmony so you can create that space, you may want to try puzzles. Legos, I love Legos, y'all. Like I love just sitting with, I have Lego. I have a whole thing of Legos here and I sit and play with them on my desk. YouTube is the greatest because YouTube, you can learn things. So, because these are things that's going to help you just to what? Get rid of all of the busy mind so you can get focused on something to create the harmony. So YouTube tutorials are really, really great. Being in a positive community like this, of course, always being somewhere where somebody is challenging you to grow, even though you may not like it. Like, dang, Master Coach is going to be doing a live and I gotta show up because I don't even want to hear the silence disappointment. You know what I mean? How your friends be doing something, you just be like, oh, let me just go because I don't want to hear the silent disappointment. Positive community. It's better than me being on here shaking my ass like, hey, let's do a twerk video. Not that I'm saying there's anything wrong with it, because we may need to do that every now and then, but it's not my consistent behavior. My consistent behavior is always wanting to spread love and positivity so we can grow and expand to our greatest self, right? Or I ain't on here just constantly being negative and talking about things that don't serve us. I'm not on here talking about the celebrity of the week. What can we talk about with the celebrity of the week? I'm not on here talking about those type of things. So you got to be careful with those type of communities that you're in. And find self-help books, playtime, like as an adult, find you some playtime because that also helps to create harmony, right? Okay, so we've gone over the top 3. Let's go into perspective thinking. If anybody have heard of perspective thinking, drop me a comment. Drop me a comment in the feed over here, because I love the concept of perspective thinking and perspective language. Okay. So it's the act of mentally stimulating the future. We call it manifestation as well. Okay. So that's another word. But if you wanted the scientific term to it or the psychological term to it, it's called perspective thinking. So we literally can stimulate the future in the wish. Like I was telling you, instead of wishing for somebody's life, you have no clue. Y'all have absolutely no clue of those people's life. All you see is the external, and you're wishing for exactly what you be getting. All of their baggage, all of the secret stuff that you don't see. So how can you mentally stimulate your own future? So you can promote your own well-being. So it's in language. So one of the ways is you need to learn how to recognize that you are different, period. You're different and everybody around you is different. And when you start to honor people's differences, then you will stop allowing other people's thoughts and feelings and behaviors to affect you. And stop taking things so personal. Because that's the beautiful thing about creation. We're all different. Then you will understand influences. So you would even understand that your own personal influences from your experiences are going to affect you, which means that other people's experiences and beliefs, right, is going to affect you and themselves. Culture, language. Just think of our melting pot of a community. Those of you who are in our community, we have a melting pot of a community. Culture plays a big part in our differences. Where we are in a part of the world plays a big part. So if we're always in the Debbie Downer of, you know, why this and why that? Why is she talking to them? Why is she interviewing them? You know, like I just experienced that in this last week. Perspective thinking will like pull you down in vibration. Because what I am reflecting is truly deceptive to truly who we are. So what we are reflecting is deceptive to who we really are, because we don't really want to be mean people. I don't really think that's who we really want to be. We become it, but that's not who we want to be. So what you are reflecting and what you're thinking, which most of us are thinking in the past so much, we're thinking of past mistakes, we're thinking of what we did wrong, instead of perspective thinking of saying, I may have did that wrong, but this is what I wanted to do. I wanted it to look like this. I wanted it to sound like this, and start wrapping your energy around that to correct it, because you can go back and correct it. Right? This is us being grown and cleaning our shit up, because most of us affect people every day because of our past experiences, because of our beliefs, because of our cultures, and because of our perspectives, that we think that we're never wrong and this is the way it has to be, and we never go and clean that stuff back up. Well, some of you don't have time to go and clean it back up. So I'm trying to help you to move forward from it. You got to go through a process of self-forgiveness, because now you're beating yourself up about all of that stuff you did. Because you used to be a mean girl and you used to be a mean boy. But now you found enlightenment and love and compassion. You found this new way of life that makes you feel sexy and good, but you still allow the burdensome of it, or the burden of it, to keep you so heavy, because you're still thinking in past tense, and that world doesn't even exist anymore. So in perspective thinking, those people that you've hurt in the past, look at them in the future and speak to them in the future. So when you get the opportunity again, you'll have the right things to say, which is just, I am sorry. I don't even know who I was then, but I'm a better person now. So I love perspective thinking, right? Because perspective thinking really helps get you to your authentic self. If I'm constantly seeing my future and speaking my future into existence, of saying, LaKendra, I no longer listen. My thing now is I just want to be a person of integrity. I want to be a person of integrity. I don't want to be doing the little white lies. I just want to speak my truth. LaKendra, do you want to do this? No. LaKendra, do you like this? Yes. No. LaKendra, did you do that? Yes, I did. And it wasn't on my best day, but I'm sorry. And I don't have to create these low vibrational narratives to make people feel better. Because if I'm always living in alignment with my core values and my principles, then what I am giving out is going to always be given out in love. Because that's who I want to be. Right? So a lot of us need to get that broom and that dustpan, and we need to stop dwelling on all of the bad things that you did to hurt people, right? And even those things that hurt you, and speak life into it in the future. To be like, you know what? Maybe I wasn't such a good sister. So how I'm going to love my brother in the future is going to be great. Like I'm going to see him more. We're going to hang out with each other. I'm going to speak to him in a positive tone. Like you truly can put it together, y'all. I'm telling you, it works. It works. Look it up. Research perspective thinking and perspective language. The next thing is move to a higher vibration, right? We hear people talk about that all the time. Albert Einstein said that the significant problems we face cannot be solved at the same level of thinking we were at when we created them. So if you get yourself in a little scuffle, in a little entanglement, in a little situation, that's the reason why it's so hard to get yourself out of it, because you probably be in the same mindset that you were in that created the problem, so you can't get yourself out of the problem. So you got to move to a higher vibration. Well, how do I do that, Master Coach? Sometimes you got to hire a coach. Sometimes you got to go to somebody else that has a higher level of awareness than you do, and you have to talk to them. It can be somebody, a loved one, somebody that you confide in. Sometimes it's as easy as putting on a good inspirational record. Going to listen to a talk like TD Jakes gets me all the way together. Like I could just be scrolling through and I can see a talk and I can put it on, and it speaks to my low vibrational self and it raises me up to I just have a different conscious mindset. It's just like, it's just that easy. So you gotta get out of this is just how I am, and it is what it is. No, it's not. Do you want to die that way? Do you want to die in this as is way? If the answer is yes, then to each his own. Okay. I don't want to die in this as is way. Well, it is what it is, and I'm just what it is. No, it's not. I want to keep moving as high as I can possibly take my perspective, my thinking. We have to keep moving towards future thinking, because that is where you get to co-create this life that you're wanting. You can't go back and co-create in the past, but you definitely can co-create in your future. So you got to move in higher vibration. And you got to get out of us from the hood, you got to get out of that damn hood mindset. It doesn't serve you. If it's not serving you, it is not good for you, right? And then those of us who are so entitled, you got to get out of that mindset. Because if it's not making you feel good, where it's serving you, where you're being good to others and helping others, then you're not in a high vibration at all. You're you're vibrating very low. You're stuck, right? You got to stop the resistance. If you want to clean your shit up faster, stop the resistance. When you feel that ego growl, like, who does she think she is? That's resistance, right? It's like an angel trying to speak to a devil. You got to let your angel shine so an angel can meet the angel that's inside of you, so you can vibrate higher and get rid of some of this shit that you've been harboring for a lifetime. Like literally, some of us have been harboring this stuff for a lifetime, right? Some of us are so negative. We're so negative to ourselves that we're negative to our children and our spouses. We're just like negative people. We know those type of people in our life. And some of us are, I'm even talking to some of you who are on here, just negative. You can't, it's just so hard for you to just get out of that language of always want to talk about somebody, want to talk about something, always trying to find the worst in something. You are the first person that, oh my gosh, she forgot to cross her T. How dare she use there and not there? Or it's without the apostrophe. It's not because you're some damn genius and you honor English, it's because you're in a fake perspective of yourself. You're vibrating low because who really gives a damn about that? How do we even know that's even the language we supposed to have? Somebody just said it. This is what they gonna learn, and we learned it. Okay. Last thing, choosing to stop failing yourself in everything. You got to choose to stop it. Emotions are tied up in our vibrational frequency. And when you can learn what level that you're on and when you're vibrating low and do things to raise your frequency, put yourself in situations where it is going to challenge you to grow, and you choose to stop failing yourself, stop being a victim of emotions, stop being victim of the past, stop being victim of fear and depression, victim of accepting being effed up. Some of us just accept it. Well, you know, my mama was like this, and this is just what it is, and this happened to me, and it don't make you feel good. Like, if it doesn't make you feel sexy, if you didn't get my definition of sexy, go back and catch the replay. If it doesn't make you feel sexy, then it's not a part of your true identity, your authentic self. It's not a part of that. No, you can change. No, you don't have to keep being a bum. No, you don't have to keep being lazy. No, you don't have to keep being isolated. No, you don't have to stay in depression. No, you don't. You choose it because you're so used to choosing the failure. And y'all, this shit is hard. So you got to start living in a state of intentions. Every day you need to wake up and you need to choose yourself. You start off with a positive affirmation. Well, that's weird. Well, try it. Try something, because what you're doing is not working. But you got to choose yourself. And you have to learn how to observe your feelings and take control of your emotions, because remember, they're not all yours. They're not. You're harboring DNA in cellular evolution of whatever you want to call it, you know, you medical people, from our ancestors and from our parents. I mean, we're already made up of our mom and our dad, and just look at them. So no, you're not going to be perfect. It's impossible. But you can choose. And you can choose yourself every single time. You can feel, you can honor, you can embrace, and you can leave that shit alone. Like, if it does not serve who you know you should be or who you are becoming in your highest sense of self, then you leave it. You just walk away from it. And if you can make it to the next day, you will survive. That's the beautiful thing about being able to wake up in the next day, because then that shit is the past. And now we honor who we are today. And even in the bad shit that happened the day before, we can still honor it in the present and speak life to it in the future and say, oh my gosh, I messed up. My lights, you know, I can't pay my light bill. I can't do this. So let me speak life into it, because I am wonderfully and beautifully made, and I have all of the resources. I have the gifts and the talents and the skills to use all of my intelligence to get this shit done, so I don't have to sit in the dark, where my kids don't have to come home and I don't have food on the table. What is it that I need to do for myself to activate every part of me so I can be a better human being as I move into my future? When you start speaking that type of life into yourself, all type of disruption happens. All types. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? It's that radical. And you can say it sound crazy, but what you doing is crazy because you ain't even where you're supposed to be in your own life. So now we challenging each other. I'm crazy and you crazy. How about that? So I already knew I was going to go over my time. Y'all know how it be. So let's open this up. Question and answers. I can't even put the little banners up, child, because I operate all that when I'm interviewing the the coaches. So I can take at least 3 questions, 2 to 3 questions. Do y'all have any? So go ahead and start bringing them in. While you're bringing in your questions, let me tell you what I got going on. Okay. So I am going to be doing a 2022 domination mastermind. I haven't done a mastermind in a long time. And based on the number of people that sign up, I'm going to decide to either do the mastermind in person or virtually. So it just really depends because the in-person ones are, man, they the bomb, okay? But the virtual ones can be the bomb too. So I am going to do a 2022 domination mastermind, and they're going to start in December. Sorry, y'all. I keep doing this wrong. They're going to start in December. It's for non-practicing coaches, for all of you who did that investment of going to get your coaching certification, and those of you who have taken all these different workshops and you ain't gone to school, you ain't got all these degrees, it's for y'all asses too. Non-practicing coaches and people who are not vibrating in their authentic self. It's for new coaches and beginning entrepreneurs and lifelong learners. Okay, it's time to stop playing small. Like my one of my mentors, I never forget, she was on stage and when she said dominate or die, like I could have lost my mind. Are we going to keep playing small where we die, or are we going to dominate? April Hunt, y'all look her up, she's amazing. Where you dominate or die, right? So mastermind 1, I'm going to teach you about your authority in your throat. I've never taught it. I've never taught this before. This is great. This is going to be good information. Your authority is in your throat. That's going to be mastermind number 1. Mastermind number 2 is going to be 6 figures. Is it a numbers game or is it a mindset? And I'm going to help you to create it because I have a formula for that. The very first time where I was just like, I need to make 6 figures where I can see it. Not 6 figures where it's like at the end of the year I don't see it. Like, no, when I open up my account, I want to be able to see it. So is it a numbers game or is it a mindset? We're going to talk about that. Mastermind number 3 is streams of income, host client attracting events. Y'all, I have made so much money hosting events. I know how to host an event. I know how to get people in the room. I know how to collaborate to get people in the room. That's a stream of income that y'all are sleeping on. I'm going to teach you how to do that, how to host a client attracting event and get people. I'm going to give you just a list of things that you can do and how to do it. So we're going to be talking about that. Mastermind number 4 is I am not here to play in 2022. It's going to be about that. I am not here to play in 2022, and we're going to get so grimy in this mastermind. It's going to blow your mind. And the investment is $147 for all 4, or you can do 2 payments of $81, or you can do 3 payments of $57.33. But at the end of the day, you just got to get yourself in the room. You got to get yourself in the room, and you got to get yourself set up with a solid method to take into 2022 so you can stop playing small and you can elevate to your next level. So even those of you who have workshops, this is going to help you elevate to the next level, bring it to a whole nother dimension, right? I miss doing my in-person events. I used to do 6 a year. In person, full house, everyone, make my money, have fun with a collective of people, move on to the next one. This social media stuff, it's not my thing. If you want to learn how to grow on social media, that's not what I do. So all of my methods is going to really help you to be an in-person entrepreneur, an in-person influencer, an in-person life coach. So y'all have any questions? Are y'all good? No questions about the content. Anybody want to share their greatest takeaway? What is your greatest takeaway from today's content? Look at this. Look at Tamasha. Tamasha's like, this is some good shit. We just got to get it together, y'all. Like, aren't y'all tired of just hearing people just talk this fluff? Listen, the workbook, if you want the fluff, it's in the workbook. I promise you. I'm talking about goals and setting milestones and, all of that, the affirmations. Like, the workbook is really good, right? You need that. Go work through it through the weekend. This was something to get you. You should be pissed off. That's what you should be. You should be pissed off, and you should be like, she's so right. I've been playing it small. I'm not where I'm supposed to be. And I know I should be so much further because that is what I desire. Every day we desire more, but we don't have the capacity to meet it. So we have to get into expanding our capacity to meet what it is that we desire. We have to. If what you want to do creates disruption that brings harmony, go, yes. Thank you, Coach Stephanie. It's not for you to shrink and hide. It's the disruption is there for a reason. It's tugging at you. It's like tug of war, right? It's like tug of war because it wants you to create harmony. Thank you so much. So once again, if y'all are ready and y'all want to get in this mastermind, I haven't decided yet. I just don't know. I'm not in full resonance of like if I want to do it virtually or if I want to do it in person. In person, we would have to we would meet once a week for it. And even if maybe I'll do it in person and virtually. I think that would be great. Maybe it will be in person and virtual, but at the end of the day, we start in December, the first week of December. So I'll be sending out the link. It'll be sent out. I hate that it's not ready right now, but we be having a lot of stuff going on, y'all. So it'll be sent out later in the week on a post, and then also it'll be sent out via email. So if you are not on our email list, just go to the global www.globalcoachentrepreneur.org and get on it. And because if you really want something, this is what I say anyway. If you really want to do something, you'll reach out. This is really simple as that. So if y'all really want to be a part of the mastermind, just reach out to me and be like, hey, how do I sign up for the mastermind? Because I really don't have time to be trying to convince people to do stuff because that's the problem. You shouldn't have to ask 1,000 questions when you know it's something that you just need. Simple as that. So if you want to be a part of the mastermind, just send me an inbox and say, Master Coach, I want to be a part of the mastermind. And if you're tuning in from YouTube, just send us an email at Gice Loves, and that's GICE Loves, LOVES @gmail.com. That's an easy. Our other email is just so long, so we created a little Gmail account for people who have a hard time spelling entrepreneur. So GiceLoves @gmail.com. Just reach out and say, hey, I want to be a part of the mastermind, and let's just get ready to radically change our life for the better. Let me put this last comment up here. That's what was the big takeaway for me of what you said. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I love you all. Thank God. This is my last Woo, doing this by yourself. Next week, we have a new coach coming up, and we already know who it is, but we'll send it out on Monday and let you know who to be tuning in to. Just set your alarm clock for Success Power Hour Friday with Master Coach LaKendra at 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time every Friday, all the way up until the end of the year. We haven't decided we're going to do it in 2022. I don't know how I'm going to feel about it. But right now, we're in flow, and everybody is doing a great job. So shout out to Coach Tamasha. You can catch her replay. She talked about manifestation. And also shout out to Coach Desiree, who came in and she did a great job talking about how to build up your influence and what does that look like and get into publications. And we're going to just keep moving through this and being empowered and inspired. So y'all have a great weekend. I'm about to jump off and go get me something to eat. So if y'all don't have any questions, I am signing off. Bye for now.